Coming up in today's magazine, Jamaica is still open for trade even as we work around the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. And we look at work being done by the Ministry of National Security to mitigate crime. We have an interesting show lined up for you. Stay tuned.
Child Month to me means putting extra emphasis on how unparalleled each and every child in the world is. It's a month where extra compassion and empowerment-filled moments are deposited into the memory banks of children. The blessing that we are from God is radiated in the form of brighter sun rays from within us, therefore leaving no other option than for us to be universally recognized. With that being said, happy Child's Month!
Imports and exports still continue even as the country combats COVID-19. Learn more in this next feature.
These necessities are among the items that COVID-19 has accelerated the need for in global trade.
Business continues, and we are putting every single apparatus and measures in place to ensure that is happening.
Staff members at the country's ports are working around the clock to ensure that goods continue to be shipped and imported. Their work is even more critical as quite a few local companies have seized export opportunities brought on by the pandemic. Just recently, Jamaica shipped for the first time locally made toilet paper to the United States of America. Another example, 5 containers of chloro bleach were shipped to the Cayman Islands. Jamaica is helping to fulfill the global demand for sanitation supplies. On the import side, tons of goods are being docked to ensure the country's needs are fulfilled. For instance, the testing kits and personal protective equipment needed to combat the novel coronavirus.
This virus causes us to be in a process of reimagination, of collaboration, of cooperation, of partnership, being solution-oriented. So it forces us to build on our productive capacity and to keep our industry alive.
The government has also extended the renewal process for the Productive Input Relief Program for approved manufacturers. The relief program has been extended for 6 months. It allows about 486 manufacturers to import raw materials free of certain duties and taxes. The use of telecommuting and teleworking policies are also applied to ensure that staff are adequately available for the various concerns of customers.
Our customs automated system that remained robust and facilitated the online submission of declaration. To date, we know that 90% of all our documentary transaction comes through that system, and it allows for our customs brokers and any other entity that uses the system to use it at anywhere in the world, which we feel that is significant to business continuity.
We are open for business. We are open for 24-hour operations. And we want to assure the public, certainly want to assure our international partners or regional partners, and certainly the Jamaican public, that Kingston Wharf is prepared to do whatever it takes to ensure that the country continues to receive steady supplies of cargo, of raw material. Once it can get in a ship, Kingston Wharf will ensure that it's taken off and it reaches the distribution trade within acceptable time.
We have been collaborating closely, even closer, with customs and the port operators on a daily basis since COVID, in order to ensure that we're meeting the requirements of the law of the country and that we're putting things in place that our customers or manufacturers or barrel customers are meeting those requirements and that we're still getting the cargo to them on a timely basis.
At the same time, industry stakeholders are doing everything to ensure that health and safety protocols are adhered to.
Collectively, we stand resolute in supporting the government of Jamaica in the fight against the pandemic.
Jamaica is still open for trade. Importers and exporters are encouraged to utilize Jamaica Customs Agency online channels. These include its live chat and customer relationship and feedback platform. These may be found on its website, jacustoms.gov.jm. Contact with the Jamaica Customs Agency may also be made via email at public.relations@jca.gov.jm and quick.response@jca.gov.jm, or call them at 876-922-51408.
The following is brought to you by MOCA, the major organized crime and anti-corruption agency with kind support of NIA and USAID.
Criminal minds think they are cunning. The major organized crime and anti-corruption agency have them running. Your friend a shout, come here. Take time running, are we ready for the ops? Drive up on your block, step out now the block, cyber take about your laptop. Pull up every lock, no evidence to drop. We put it in a cuffs and now we have the underground. Sin you say scam, you better look out for. When you move corrupt, better look out for. Feel say you get wet, look out for. Look out for, look out for. From you say scam, you better look out for. When you move corrupt, better look out for. Feel say you get wet, look out for. Look out for, look out for.
The proceeding was brought to you by MOCA, the major organized crime and anti-corruption agency with the kind support of NIA and USAID.
The government continues to implement crime-fighting measures across the island, with the National Security Ministry enhancing the Jamaica Eye surveillance system and increasing the mobility of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. Find out more next.
The police car remains one of the most important assets in the maintenance of public safety in our society. This fleet represents the continued thrust to modernize our police force. These vehicles are modified in a way that takes into account our terrain, our circumstances, and the requirements of policing in Jamaica. Along with other technology, we have been able to be more responsive to the needs of the public, which has supported us in taking on the new tasks and roles associated with the COVID-19 pandemic, even as we remain committed to our normal policing duties. These vehicles are equipped with tracking systems that will allow for greater visibility of the deployment of these assets, as well as greater accountability and fleet management. The systems will also make our officers more efficient on the job. Our patrol vehicle is a visible deterrent to criminals and a welcome symbol of protection and reassurance to citizens. We should never be challenged by immobility in responding to citizens' needs. And this is a timely contribution as we increase our presence to reassure the nation. These vehicles will significantly advance the constabulary's modernization and transformation agenda.
There are 33 new bikes to come as well, because the bikes are a critical part of what we do, but all that reflects a continuing commitment to ensure our security forces is effectively equipped, efficiently positioned to deal with the kind of crime we have in modern Jamaica. This government is committed to providing an effective security apparatus for the country, and this is symbolic of what we want to do. And during the course of 2019-2020, we in fact acquired some 367 new vehicles at a cost of near $2 billion. That was the commitment of this government to continue with the development of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. In addition to the mobility, we have a whole new formation devoted to technology, which is important, as I said, in going forward, because without modern technology, we cannot function. Between the technology formation and our mobility, we are looking at improving the efficiency of the police force. And we have said beside response time, there are other things happening. And I'm confident that as we proceed over this year and into the next, we maintain our commitment to giving the police force the resources they require and begin the process of expanding the numbers as we expand our training facility. The country can take comfort. We will overcome the disease of crime as well as the disease of COVID-19. This is the first signing of an agreement MOU with a private sector grouping to extend our surveillance activity across the island at critical business activity.
The JGRA commends the Ministry of National Security and the Jamaica Eye team on this initiative to make Jamaica a safer country. We as an organization are ready to implement this program with our members and encourage the entire industry to get on board with this initiative.
It is noticeable that in the last year in particular, we have seen significant increase in events targeting air business activity, which operates with a heavy cash load on a normal basis. So gas stations, supermarkets in rural Jamaica, and money transfer stations are prime targets for criminals who are focused on getting ready cash. In order to ensure we have significant reduction of this kind of activity crime, we have to identify, apprehend, and prosecute the criminals involved. That is the surest way of ensuring we can stop any criminal activity. And this means ensuring that we have enough eyes to identify the individuals. In addition to the need for first-person affidavits, we have developed the Jamaica program, which is extending our capacity to survey section of the island on a much more extensive basis. The entire system, the core of the system is now in place, and we are now looking at expanding and developing partnerships with several of our private sector business groupings.
We further encourage other private sector entities to come forward and engage the Jamaica Eye with the aim of working together to reap the benefits of a lower crime rate in Jamaica. And we see this partnership as the next logical step to ensure that we support the country's fight against criminal elements.
If we all pull together, I can assure the various business owners that the police can provide the kind of security blanket required, but it needs full cooperation at all times by all involved. So again, let me commend the Jamaica Gasoline Retailers Association for initiating this event, and we look forward to expanding this to other challenge areas throughout Jamaica.
May is Lupus Awareness Month. The period aims to increase an understanding of the disease amongst the general public. Dr. Jacqueline Goldburn will today take us on her journey living with lupus.
I was diagnosed with lupus in 2008, but from my own knowledge of what is happening, I must have had lupus all my life, as it were, because I've always been having symptoms. But the challenge that I had was that I was always misdiagnosed. And so that is the focus of my, the challenges in terms of, the doctors would think that I have something else and not lupus, but you'd have different symptoms. But I have systemic lupus, and lupus is not only systemic, but some persons just have what we call discord lupus or other little types, joint pains, and so on. But I have the full works. Well, I was extremely disappointed because I felt, oh my God, I have lived a good life. I have always been careful about what I eat. I've always been sure to exercise. I've used to be nice and slim and beautiful. And to hear that now I have this condition, I did not want to believe. And then it got worse after the diagnosis. You know, I had periods where I couldn't work at all. There was a 4-year period in my life that I never worked. I just couldn't work. I was just always sick. I was always in hospital. Sometimes I'm in intensive care, sometimes I am unconscious, sometimes I'm all kinds of things. So it has not been a very wonderful ride. In 2014, I became, my kidneys stopped working. So I was now in renal failure. And it means that I now have to go to dialysis. So there were days when I would just be so weak. My blood count, that's HB, would fall to a very low level. I had to get blood. I had to look at what I eat. I had to look at how much I do. I had no energy most times. I couldn't do anything. I just had to lie down in my bed. So just different things. You couldn't walk sometimes. Sometimes I can't talk clearly. Sometimes I can't see. Sometimes my hands are so sore and I can't use them. Sometimes just different things. My lungs would fail. Different things would happen. So I've been through the ropes. Mentally, it was devastating because I feel that that's not supposed to happen to me. So I went through that period. I actually went through a period of severe depression. I was just so depressed. I could not help myself. There were days I just cry and cry and cry. And part of that too is the medication that I take. Some of the steroids make you depressed. And then you look into the mirror and you look at yourself and say, who is this? I don't know you. Can I tell you, I have learned to love life and to live. And that is what is important to me. Each day counts. And I believe that I should live each day to the fullest. With lupus, there is this uncertainty. I don't know when I will be unconscious again. I don't know when I will die. But I am going to maintain the quality of life, and I'm going to have a good life, and I'm going to live. I have good family support. My husband is extremely supportive, my son. So I have them. And I have good friends. Good friends, the saying goes, good friends are better than pocket money. Then there's also the Lupus Foundation, which is important. There is a support group there. There are excellent rheumatologists there who will provide advice and help and care and just information. There's a whole host of books and tapes and all kinds of things that you can get information from. There is also the website that you can look at and get information as well. I've actually gone for job interviews and I know I don't get a job not because I'm not qualified, but because I have lupus. So employers need to understand that people living with lupus can actually contribute and, make adjustments. There are days, for example, after dialysis that I will come to work a little bit late, but I will work later to make sure that the time is there. I have learned that it has no boundaries, it has no behavior, it has no conscience, it has no purpose, it has no time. It does what it chooses to do whenever. And therefore you need to be aware of yourself and what are some of the things that are your triggers, and therefore try to manage and monitor those. You must also be mindful of the medication that you have to take and take them carefully and take them well. You should also be mindful of your appointments with your doctors and make sure that you keep those appointments. I would say to you, help is available. Find some help, find some support. Talking about it helps. Don't feel that it is you are, because you're special or you're being punished why you have lupus. But recognize that this is just another thing that could happen to anybody. Anybody, color, class, or creed, rich or poor, man or woman. There are more women with lupus than men, but men have lupus as well. And so be aware of the symptoms, get help, get treatment. Don't hide away. Don't think that people obey you, because Jamaica is famous for that. But know that this is a condition that can be controlled. It cannot be cured. It can be controlled, and you can maintain a healthy life. Seek to work, seek to be involved, do what you're doing, treat whatever is happening. If it's depression, get it treated, get treatment, get help. Help is available.
To learn more about lupus, contact the Lupus Foundation of Jamaica via their website lupusfoundationjamaica.org or 754-8458. You may also visit them at 7 Barbados Avenue, Kingston 5.
Our children are our future, and ensuring that they achieve their fullest potential should always be top priority. The administration at the Licensed Center of Excellence in St. Thomas is doing just that for a special group of children.
The Licensed Center of Excellence caters to students post-primary, 13 years and up, who have been assessed and who have been diagnosed to be on the intellectually disabled spectrum. That means they're either mild to moderate. The Digital Foundation was kind enough to give us this wonderful school so St. Thomas can cater more to these children who need special attention. This institution opened its doors September 2017. We have a wonderful team here. We have teachers who love children. We have an administrative and an ancillary staff who loves children. Most naturally, the campus coordinator loves children. So we are here catering to the needs of these children because we believe in adding value. These children have a lot to offer, but you can only unearth it with patience, with love, and with care. Because if they don't trust you, you can't win them. And so, we want these children to be independent. We want them to contribute to their families, to their communities, and the society at large. And so we're preparing them for the working world. So at the Licensed Center of Excellence, we are skill-based. There is room for improvement, and we welcome the hands to share so that we can care more. We offer theater arts. Yes, the children can do a little. We communication. We do math, but not the math you know of trigonometry. No, we are teaching them how to balance their books, so they know a lot of measurement and of course money. We offer to them home economics, food preparation, and a little clothing and textile. As you walk around our lovely campus, it's green vegetation. So we do a little bit of agriculture, and we're able to give to our kitchen, and the children can get to take home. Of course at a cost, because we're teaching them that everything comes with a cost, because we need money to do other things. My students are interesting and we listen to them. One boy said to me, "Miss, me no want the way you do the school and I'm want to fill your block." And so I went out into the wider community, and we're actually teaching our students how to lay blocks, and they're enjoying it. In special ed, a lot of emphasis is placed on life skills. And life skills is taught in all the subject areas, with extra emphasis coming from the guidance departments. So of course, Licensed Center of Excellence is the place to be.
My classroom is a corporate space. I facilitate learning. My students learn from each other. They help each other during the learning process. Enabling them, I make certain that I encourage them that there's nothing that they cannot do. And the motivation that they get from being a part of my classroom, the fact that we differentiate learning too in there and tiered activities are used, it makes no child feel left out.
What I love about the License Center of Excellence, it's a level playing field. We exclude no one. So all activities, if it means you're to get assistance, be it from a classmate, a teacher, or from an ancillary worker, you're going to get the assistance because we believe in excellence. Excellence for all.
Today's Child Month tip is appoint each member of your family to find spiritual resources online. Use the varying platforms available to find messages, thoughts, or songs to use during your family devotion. Being home together provides the family with an opportunity to create a stronger bond. Take a break from the games and the discussions surrounding work and focus on spiritual development and growth. Set aside time for the family to utilize technological devices to find quotes, songs, or even inspirational videos, which will create a positive environment during this pandemic as we work to make Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business.
Under the Disaster Risk Management Act, gatherings in any public access place shall not exceed 10 persons.
Thanks for watching another edition of Jamaica Magazine. Do join us again tomorrow when we'll do this all over again. Remember to follow us on our social media pages and even check out our website at jis.gov.jm. Also, feel free to send your feedback on today's show to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm. On behalf of the entire production crew, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.